Hello and welcome to BrightIAM. I'm Lucy Black and I am absolutely thrilled to be joined here today by the beautiful Carole Sorbie. Carole, it's lovely to have you here.
Hello, Lucy. Thank you for inviting me.
Honestly, I've just had the pleasure of picking you up from the train station. Carole's done a very, very special trip to see us here in the studio today. And you are one of our Kilimanjaro trek participants.
I know. I can't believe that I am, but I'm here and I'm looking forward to it, embracing every minute.
I love that. So I think to start with, it's really probably interesting for the people who are listening and following this story to understand how you got involved. And, well, maybe just tell us that story. So, Carole, your late husband, Trevor Sorbie, who is a very well-known man in the hairdressing industry, he passed about a year ago. Is that right?
Indeed he did.
And you were all friends with the wonderful Andrew Barton.
Mm-hmm.
So, what happened? How has it been that you are now sat here on this podcast, that you are taking on Kilimanjaro in January 2026? What did that naughty Andrew do and how did it work out?
Over him and his lovely husband Phil coming to my home, checking up on me to make sure I'm okay, and I cooked them Sunday lunch.
Oh, this sounds good.
So another couple were there as well, people that we all knew. Had a lovely lunch, and over lunch and about 2 bottles of wine and a bottle of champagne. Andrea was actually talking to someone else at the dinner party and saying that they should have come on board with this.
Right.
And then they looked at me and said, well, if Carl isn't going to do it, Carole could. Well, I nearly spat my roast potato out.
Did you?
What? I can't do anything like that. I've never even, I don't know, the furthest I've walked is 7 miles, but with a pub at the end of it.
Yep.
So never done anything like it. Within 24 hours, I've given myself every reason why I couldn't do it, shouldn't do it, wouldn't do it, and then woke up and I booked my place on the mountain. Yeah. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. So when you were thinking, oh, no, this isn't for me, oh, I couldn't possibly, I think when we spoke on the phone, you'd done quite a lot of research, you'd looked at videos, you'd said, oh, this isn't me. And then something shifted. And actually, it started to make sense that after this year of grieving, really, you were very, very close, obviously, to Trevor. It's a lovely love story we'll go into shortly. This has given you maybe a sense of direction and something to aim towards and to be part of.
That really was it. You know, a long night of deliberating and cogitating and then thinking, wow, I'm not looking forward to the winter.
Yes.
You know, coming up, it will be every January, Trevor and I always went away. We've been 14 times to Dubai.
Okay.
I've always gone to the sun with Trevor, and just the thought of January coming and what am I going to do, with really having no direction, but feeling a little bit stronger, as grief is in many stages.
Yes.
And then I thought, well, okay, well, this will give me something to focus on other than myself.
Yes.
So that was a massive part. But the transformation in the last 3 months since I made the decision, my family can see, my friends can see. I feel like I've got a sparkle in the eye.
Yeah, you look like you've got a sparkle. Like, Carole, you really do. You honestly look amazing. And I'm so pleased that this charity climb, like, and I know everyone who listens, I go on about this momentum, this power, this belonging, this purpose, all of these individual stories within this bigger story of hope and resilience. It's giving everybody something very special. And so in those 3 months, you came and joined us at the Ambassador Stand United event. Mm-hmm. So you've had more socials, you've met people, different people who are on the group, on the chats, and walks. Have you done any walks with new people?
Yeah, so I met Carl, the lovely Carl.
Oh,
He's
I love
a complete
Carl.
Nutter.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
He's brilliant, Carl.
We walked up Butser Hill,
right.
And we did a lovely long walk. He was great fun. I've also got Coach Carl, who I've poached my friend's partner. He was the guy that was at that dinner party who actually climbed Kili 20 years ago.
Oh, so he was at the
dinner
roast lunch.
party.
Oh, was he? Okay.
So he takes things very, very seriously, and he knew that I had no clue, but he wanted to make sure, as my really good friend, that I would be mountain ready. And he's kind of like ex-military. He's just so disciplined. So he's been taking me out on long training treks once a month. So I've got my next one at the South Downs. I think we're going next Monday.
That's brilliant.
I've walked, the furthest I've walked is 20 kilometres.
Okay, that's really good.
That took about 4.5 hours with only 2 10-minute stops.
Right.
My knees went to jelly, but the next day I could have got up and done it again.
Now that is what we need. And anybody who's listening to this podcast and the ones that have been before, they'll know that it's that back-to-back, it's that resilience, that day-on-day walking. That's what you need.
It's very addictive.
Is it?
Well, I didn't even own any boots or anything like that before. Right. I was a boutique girl, shopping in, little boutiques in Chelsea, that kind of thing. Keep me away from mountain shops. Yes. I just love them. I'm just in them all the time, snow and rock.
Are you?
Mountain equipment, yeah, I just love them. Every bit of kit looks interesting to me. What does this do? So I'm learning all the time.
It's so good. And I know from talking to the Uncharted Summits team, they've said that getting the right kit and getting it, training in it, wearing it early is a very important part of this whole adventure, to know it fits, to know it doesn't rub. So you're getting all kitted out, you're doing all these wonderful walks, you're meeting all these new people, moving forward from a place of grief, which, I mean, when we lose people, there's always a little something that will always be lost and empty there. But I would like to say, and I never met Trevor myself, I wasn't privileged or lucky enough to meet him, that he would be really happy with this new adventure that you're on, this new direction.
I felt from the minute we had that lunch with Andrew, Trevor was sat on my shoulder saying, "Go on, Carole, face your fears." That was one of his big things that he said to a lot of people. He applied it in his own life. Right. And went out on that stage terrified. But he did it over and over and over again, and he became amazing at it. So, I think Trevor always had set himself reachable goals.
Yeah.
And he used that analogy in life an awful lot. And the way I look at Mount Kilimanjaro is every step of the mountain, I'm going to look at it as a reachable goal.
Sure.
I see myself summiting, for sure. I don't see myself failing at that. I intend to summit. Yeah. But I'm going to have those reachable goals and listen to all the advice, what the doctor tells you, do as much research to help myself as possible. But that's what my lovely Trevor always believed in. So he is there with me.
That's lovely. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And would you tell, just perhaps for the people listening, Trevor's story? So how he got into hairdressing, how he ended up sadly dying, passing away last year. What's an overview of Trevor's story? What kind of things did he achieve? When did you meet Trevor? We'd be really interested to hear.
Wow, well, there's probably not long enough to cover all of that. But Trevor went into hairdressing because his father was a barber.
Right.
And his grandfather was a professor of hair. So it was in his family a long, long time. Regarding why I'm doing this with the anti-bullying is because Trevor was bullied as a child.
Right.
This I knew because he shared with me a few stories. He never really... He used to, when he was interviewed, he would say, I was bullied at school. But then if anyone asked another question, he quickly shut it down.
Right.
I think it's just something that back then, because, he was born in 1949, and as a 11-year-old boy, when it really started at school, he didn't really have anywhere to go with that. You just got on with it. But he would leave school, And then on the way home, the bullies, the gangs would be there. And quite often his brother, Mike, who was 2 years older than Trevor, used to turn up on his bike and throw his bike down and stand between Trevor and the bullies and would often, see them off.
Right.
That carried on for a little while. And then Trevor, he had something strange that happened in his life where his parents had this agreement for the first 10 years of their marriage they would live in Scotland, in Paisley, which is where he was raised. And then his mother wanted to move to England.
Right.
So they then, at the age of 11, moved to Harlow in Essex.
Okay, big change.
Yeah, and that's where his dad, Jock, had a barber shop. But Trevor was still bullied. It followed him, in the next school, and because of his Scottish accent. So he's self-taught to speak the English language without any Scottish
now that's
accent.
really interesting to me, that is. So as a young boy, he's transitioned down to the UK, to England rather, and he's had to adapt himself at that young age to try and ward off more bullying.
Yeah.
That's really sad, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Because, the Scottish accent is quite nice. I like it.
I love it.
There were the odd word that I would pick up, like boot.
Okay.
Very rare.
Yeah, it used to slip out on occasion.
It used to slip out on occasion.
Yes.
And the other thing that stood out with Trevor is he was different at school. He was bullied because he liked art. He was very creative. So in the end, at the age of about 15, his dad said, I don't know what we're going to do with you, Trevor. This can't carry on. Come into the barber shop.
Right.
And, that's where it started. And he never found it hard. He was so creative. And that just organically led on to ladies' hairdressing.
Okay, so when he came to England, about aged 11, that bullying for Trevor in his life carried on right through to when he left school, about 15. Okay, so that's a long time. We've shared stories here on this couch with the ambassadors, Josh Braid, Andrew Barton, who you know very well. There seems to be this pattern of longevity in this time. These young people, in that vulnerable, formative age of their lives, are holding these awful situations, these traumatic situations. But Trevor, much like Andrew, has gone on to a hair salon or a hairdressing space, and that's where he found himself and his people.
Yeah, I think that is definitely the case. Trevor never let it define him. He always looked forward. I don't know how bad the situations were because he was very, very clever at blocking things out.
Yes.
Very clever. But he touched on it from time to time, so I knew that probably contributed to maybe some of his anxieties that he had later in life, especially going out on stage and, but he found that as soon as he touched a head of hair, it would disappear.
Wow. Isn't it interesting? And how somebody as iconic as Trevor Sorbie, like he's an icon, the man's an icon, was touched for those years, was affected all those years, has this really public, outward-facing role in the hairdressing industry, like you say, on stages and platforms, and had that anxiety, probably from what those bullies took from him back in the day.
Probably. I've seen a lot of his shows around the world were filmed, and there was one in particular in Madrid where he actually came on stage and had a full-on panic attack. Okay. And the audience laughed because he was a bit of a comedian, and nobody thought he was serious. But I could see it, and actually when I saw that, I cried because I knew the backstory to it. But again, he started hair and he was fine.
So really then, Carole, you are climbing Kilimanjaro in memory, in legacy, in honour of Trevor and his story and his struggles from being a young person with bullying.
Absolutely. I see myself, when I get to that summit, I'm going to plant that flag in, and it is like a big V's up to all of those bullies out there from the past and present, we're not having this, you know, and there is help now for these wonderful people. There is help, places for them to go. There wasn't for Trevor, but, you know, this is what this climb is all about.
Yeah, and that's right. It is about standing together, united. The resilience is sharing stories, it's sharing time, and actually pushing yourself. No matter what you've been through in the past, no matter how bullying or, you know, adverse life experiences have touched you, it's about finding your tribe on this trek and moving together to that joint purpose.
Yes.
Oh, you know it's going to be totes and mosh on the top of the mountain.
I do.
No mascara. No mascara that day.
Not for 7 days.
Oh my goodness, not a shower for 7 days. Carole, how are you feeling about all of those parts of this climb? Because you might have the right kit, and it sounds to me, my goodness, it sounds to me you've got the right mindset. But that day after day, the luxury is being missed. I mean, no shower, you've got the warm water comes to your tent. Are you having your own tent? Are you sharing? What does that all look like?
I think there's a lot of us girlies that are going to have our own tent because, you know, it's just a bit easier. We're all a little bit concerned about the no sleeping. I'm more concerned about that than not having a hairdryer.
Sure.
Because, you know, you want the energy for the next day. So, you know, if you've got someone else that you're trying to be careful of and be quiet, it's better to do that on your own.
Oh, absolutely. I would have my own tent, 100%, because there is amazing people. There's magic in the relationships and the participants. But actually, I think what's a really important part of life in general is just to have that, your own space and your own little whew at the end of a day.
Yeah.
But I've heard that you sleep beautiful on the mountain. Everyone I've spoken to, our lovely mountaineer, Dr. Alison, you get all snug in your nice sleeping bag and you're all in and you're all tired and you're all happy and you're in the fresh air and you'll go out like a light. This is what I've heard. So get your rest, eat properly, and keep doing your training.
Yeah, that's really, really good advice, and I will adhere to all of it. I am not worried about not wearing makeup, not doing hair. I'm looking forward to discovering me. You know, this last year has been different stages of grief. Yes. I want to see how strong Carole is, where my breaking point is, if there's going to be one. Losing Trevor was the biggest thing ever in my life, but he was a man with great wisdom that he did pass on to me. So I'm going to use it in the best way that I can, and I'm grateful. I'm not someone I'm looking back and going, oh my God, I've lost. What have I lost? Look at what I had.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at what I had.
And look what you've still got. Look what he's put into you, what you two co-created together. The lessons, the time, the messages, and what can you do with that? And that actually brings me really nicely onto my next point. You're recently a trustee of a charity, and this was a charity formed by Trevor. Could you just tell us a little bit about that one?
So, yeah, I met Trevor actually just over 20 years ago. I was about to emigrate to the Cape Verde Islands, which I did. But just before then, my best friend at school, Trudy, she had breast cancer. My background is a hairdresser. I had my own hairdressing salon for many, many years. And she came in to me and said, Carole, I'm going to go through chemotherapy. I'm going to be losing my hair. Could you customise a wig for me? And I thought, well, I've never done that. But I found out that there was somebody in London by the name of Trevor Sorbie.
Oh, this is beautiful.
That did customise wigs. Well, of course, I knew who he was, but I've never met him. And I actually didn't know that he did all the wonderful shows that he did. I just thought, oh, that's a name that I know. And a rep had told me that he was doing this. And he's just started this new charity called My New Hair. Well, we phoned Trevor's PA at the time, and she said, oh, you know, he's got a 3-month waiting list.
Yeah.
And my friend's hair was just starting to come out.
Bless her.
So a couple of days later, we got a phone call to say there's a cancellation in 2 days. Can you come? Well, I just down tools. I scooped Trudy up. We got on the train to London, and we walked through the doors of the Covent Garden salon, and there he was, the man himself.
And that's when you first met Trevor?
That's when I first met Trevor. So I went as her support system, and I'm watching him customise this wig, and I think my jaw was like, I'd never seen anybody do it with a razor for a start, you know, and his hands danced. They were just, I just couldn't take my eyes off his hands.
Right.
He was so lovely. Afterwards, he said, "Oh, my next client's cancelled. Would you ladies like to come for a glass of wine?"
Go on, the Trevor. Go on.
My friend's knees were knocking. She was like, "What? This is incredible." So we went to have a glass of wine, and then what happened there? Oh, yeah. He said, "I'm not actually happy with the wig that I've cut you, Trudy. I think you could do better. Let's get you a better wig," because he can only do what the wig allows.
Right.
And she'd bought in one that was from her NHS hospital.
Yeah, so just a standard fit, and maybe was it real hair?
It was synthetic. Synthetic is better, actually.
Oh, is it? Okay.
For clients going through chemotherapy, because it's easier to maintain when you're poorly.
Right.
When you're going through treatment, that, you know, when you're looking after a real hair wig, there's all the upkeep and all of that.
Okay.
So synthetic is they are very, very good now. A good one. So 8 weeks later, we're back on the train again, and he's actually taking us to a wig supplier. Very carefully chose the most amazing wig for my friend, which she swore that this was the thing that gave her the carrot to really push through treatment, because he made her look and feel amazing. I saw that transformation where this was somebody coming from, I don't know if I'm going to live, I don't know if I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And then what he did was he customised this wig and made her look like her again, because she'd lost her hair.
What a gift.
So it was on that meeting that I then went off to Cape Verde, and that was another 2 years passed by. Cut a long story short, came back 2 years later. My friend was well.
Good.
And she said, "Carole, can we go to London? I want to say thank you to Trevor. He was a massive part of my journey." I said, "He's far too busy. You won't even remember us." Well, she set the whole thing up. We went to London. On that trip back, because I was only going to be staying in the UK for a couple of weeks, heading back to Cape Verde, but my marriage had ended.
Right.
I was in a long marriage for about 25 years, but ended amicably. So I was telling Trudy on the way to London, I'm thinking of dating. And of course, when we met Trevor again, we took him for a glass of wine. My agreement with Trudy is no matter what, one of us pays the bill, because Trevor paid last time. So just as we were kind of finishing everything, I went downstairs to pay the bill, and that was when Trudy had said, "Oh my God, isn't it strange, Carole's having trouble dating." Well, that was the biggest green light for, I didn't realise, a very single Trevor at the time. And I think he came down, tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around, and I don't know who kissed each other first, in the restaurant that he has gone to for 20 years, in front of everybody.
Oh, no. And I love this story too much. And that was there on that day?
That was there on that day. And I'm flying back to Cape Verde.
Or the third meet then?
So we met in London
twice years before.
Yeah.
I love that, Trevor. I love that.
He was just a man of action. So I flew back to Cape Verde. He phoned me every day.
Did he?
For nearly 2 months. And then I surprised him with a trip to London. I flew to London, and he said, "Oh my God, no one's ever done that for me." Went back again. We called each other for another couple of weeks. And then we said, "Where's a halfway point?"
Yeah.
London and Cape Verde. Well, it was Lisbon.
Nice.
And so we met in Lisbon.
Oh, now hold on a minute. your dog's called Lisbon.
Yes.
Yes, your dear little dog.
Yeah.
Cavalier?
Cavalier.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was so funny because we were in Lisbon and we were watching all these people. It was on Valentine's Day.
Oh, this is just the best story ever. We need this in a book, by the way. It's coming out soon.
Yeah, I think it should be. And actually, we looked down and we saw this little dog, and both of us loving dogs we barely knew each other really.
Yeah.
And he just turned around and said to me, one day, Carole, if we ever get together properly and have a dog, we'll call him Lisbon.
Oh, and that's exactly what you did.
Yeah. And then I went back to Cape Verde, and then I think a month later, he said, what are you still doing there? Come to London, move in with me. And that was nearly 19 years ago.
It's beautiful. It's like the most beautiful love story. And the way that you'd met before, and the way that he had put himself out to help your friend. And we know, I know as a woman, if there is somebody who's helping somebody I love, they shine even more in my eyes. And then to have that gap, that time in between.
Yeah.
And then I suppose as time went on with you and Trevor, when you were together, you found your roles alongside each other. I suspect actually from looking and reading and speaking, you were probably a really big support to Trevor actually in that last section of his career, going with him to all different events.
You're right, and many people picked up on that, his company,
Yes.
all of his people around him. I seem to slot in very, very easily. I love people with my hairdressing background. We just really complemented each other. We were an absolute team. I became a volunteer for the charity.
Right.
Sadly, I lost my lovely friend. She battled with it twice, but
I'm sorry about that.
out of something awful came Trevor and I. So, and she knew that, and she was really happy.
Oh, she was delighted to set that up. I bet she loved it when she heard that he'd come down and given you a kiss.
I know.
I
She
bet
really did. She really did.
Oh,
But yeah, so I carried on, and it seemed to be a natural thing for the charity to make me a trustee.
Beautiful.
Because I've got the connections in the hairdressing industry, and we're trying to make it a global service.
good. It sounds like an absolutely beautiful charity and actually a very important thing for people who are struggling with their identity in that time of need. I love that, and I love that you're doing that as a trustee.
Well, we desperately need more hairdressers to be trained in the art of cutting wigs. It's
Okay.
not something that comes natural to everybody.
Yes.
And also to have the empathy around people that are in a very, very vulnerable state. They don't know whether they're going to live or die.
Yes.
And hair is a massive, massive thing. I've had 2 people come to Trevor and say that they'd rather refuse surgery than lose their hair. That's how important it is to a woman.
I understand. I really do. It's very much part of our identity, isn't it? It's a really, really big thing. So for My New Hair, the charity that you are a trustee on there, you're actively looking for more hairdressers who would perhaps go on a course to learn how to wig
Trevor
cut?
set up, along with L'Oreal's
Right.
backing, he would train every month. We've trained over 1,400 hair professionals across the UK. We've set it off in Canada and in Dubai. But we really are hoping that somebody like L'Oreal are going to help us take it forward much more globally, because cancer is everywhere.
Yes, it is.
So we're wanting professional hairdressers to come on board our training courses that at the moment are held in Hammersmith in London.
Love it, right?
No, not Hammersmith, they've moved. They're now near Westfield.
Oh,
Shepherd's
honey.
Bush.
Oh, well, I'm
the
glad
new
you know.
L'Oreal headquarters.
Sweet, I don't know.
Apologies,
My
L'Oreal.
sense of direction is horrendous for
Yeah,
me.
so it's their new headquarters there, and we've got 3 training seminars booked for next year. We're hoping that there's going to be more. And I attend. I'm part of a very small team. They often use me as the model and customise the wigs. But at the beginning of the class, I get up and I now tell Trevor's story.
I love that.
Because that's what he did. So it's hard because he's on the big screen behind me. But somehow I get through it.
Yeah. It's just beautiful, Carole. I love it. So if anybody is listening who is connected in the hairdressing world or is a provider of hairdressing services like L'Oreal or others, then this is what you're doing. This is part of your next step. And actually, post-climb, you're going to have more things to work towards. And I got a funny feeling, Carole, each goal is going to get bigger and brighter for you, because you're going to realise on that summit of Kilimanjaro in January that from an idea to training, action, it takes you to that place where you thought you could never possibly imagine yourself. So what will be next for Carole? And I think that this work with being a trustee and this wonderful charity, which now we've heard you're so connected to for your friend and how you met Trevor, it feels really natural and the right thing to me. I love that.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to my list because we've got so much to talk about. I think we could talk all day, actually, you and I love this. I'm having the best time ever. Your training journey, something that I have noticed, you held a beautiful fundraiser with friends. So as part of the Kilimanjaro climb, obviously this is all in aid of Kidscape, it's sharing awareness, it's getting the name out there, it's getting people talking about bullying. But actually each participant, we're asking to raise around about £1,500 for the charity. How's that going? And tell me about this nice fundraiser you did.
Okay, well, I think when I last checked, I'm about £45 from 2000.
Yes, Carole.
So I started pestering friends and family very, very quickly. But yeah, I had my local community. So I've got a lovely little pub called Woody's in Wickham Square.
Right.
And they very kindly got behind me. And we had a fundraiser there, a quiz night.
Okay, right, brilliant. That's so sweet.
We sold tickets for about £5 each, and this was to mostly people that I'd never met, but a little community just wanting to do good and get behind a good cause.
Yeah.
And then we begged, stole and borrowed lots of raffle prizes.
Yeah, great.
As you do, cap in hand. I'm used to that because I've done a couple of fundraisers before for the charity My New Hair. And yeah, everybody, we had a great night, a really, really good night. And we raised, I think, about £600 that night, 645, something like that.
Yeah, great.
So that added to the fund. And yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's so lovely and it's so nice. And you're saying that, you know, this community came round and got around to support this great cause. I think also they came round to support you, Carole, because you're doing something incredible. Not everybody can make decisions to say, yes, I'm going to take that on. Not everyone is brave enough, strong enough, resilient enough. It's very easy to say, oh no. But you said yes. And this story, this growing momentum. And as you know, we've got plenty of other points past Kilimanjaro. So I was viewing a beautiful event space for our after climb, after chat event. Lovely vineyard in Sussex. You're going to be the first to know when it's confirmed. And then following that, we do have our documentary, which will be premiering, can't say that properly, at the end of summer. And I wanted to ask you actually a little bit of a question about that. Have you got your outfit sorted for the premiere in your mind? Because I've got a feeling you're going to be looking rather nice on there.
Oh my goodness.
Because there's no mountain gear.
No.
This is red carpet, this is VIP. So I'm thinking like a proper nice outfit.
Oh, it's got to be done then, isn't it? I have to go back to Boutique Carole.
Pop back to Boutique Carole, then back into Mountain Warehouse. It's that new space.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I love a good night out. So fantastic.
Oh, well, we've
I'm
got
up for it, Lucy.
Plenty of them coming along. And then just finally on my lovely list of questions to ask you, would you have a message for people who, I mean, we've all lost, maybe not everybody has lost, but you've been through this time, this change in time, this period of grief, and you've taken on this challenge adventure, which is almost like landed in your lap and hit you in the face. It's like, come on, climb me, I'm Kilimanjaro. What words of advice would you give to somebody who perhaps has been in mourning for a time and had lost a very significant other? And if they were just teetering on the edge of considering to take this challenge of a lifetime or do something extraordinary, what would you say to them, Carole?
Okay, so stages of grief are varied, and I think anyone that tells you, oh, you should be over it, or you should be doing this, you cannot listen. You have to feel it inside what is right for you. I started bereavement counselling before I lost Trevor.
Right.
To help, and I didn't actually know you could do that. to try and help me, because I was losing Trevor for many years before.
Okay, would you tell us, and the people who are listening, I know a little bit more of Trevor's story. What did he die of? How was that end for him?
So he had cancer.
Right. Okay.
He started with bowel cancer. We got rid of that, and then it went to his liver.
Okay.
So he had, I think, about 24 rounds of chemotherapy, 2 major surgeries.
Right.
But really, we knew that it was going to be terminal 2 years prior to me losing him.
Right.
So when you know that, and that your time is so limited, and of course he was going through all those changes, and watching somebody disappear that is so vibrant,
Yes.
is really difficult to watch when you have to be so strong, because he was very much still in the public eye.
Yes.
He did a live interview on This Morning, only the September before we lost him in the November.
Oh, right.
I did it with him, which was really hard, but that was who he was. So, yes, for somebody going through change, I draw my strengths from, I think, the law of attraction.
Oh, I was talking about this earlier.
So, which I read the book The Secret over and over and over, and I really believe that it's what you put out is what you're going to attract.
Yes.
So to be in a negative space and to stay there, that's all you're going to attract is negativity. You're not going to get out of it. I think you need to put a certain amount of action. You can't just sit and wait for something wonderful to happen. Sometimes it does, but there is a certain amount of action that you need to do to put yourself out there. So maybe that was me actually having that dinner party that I wasn't really sure I was going to have, because it would have been my first one without Trevor.
And they were couples. So you've got
And they
Andrew
were
and his
couples.
husband, yes, and your other friend,
So
yeah.
I consider that to be the action that I took on that day that led on to positive things happening. And I think that that's happened all my life when I look at the situations that I've been in. And, I think, that's the way I look at it. So for anybody that is considering, what shall I do? I don't know when to do it. Take a leap of faith.
Yes.
Take a leap of faith and see what happens.
Put yourself out there. Look at what you're attracting around you and open the space for something new and exciting to come in. I love that. And I tell you what I think is really beautiful, collecting stories here as part of this adventure, is understanding what the cause means to people, individual participants, the stories within stories. And it's actually lovely to be sat here today with you, Carole, full stop. But the fact that you're climbing for Trevor, that bullying is something that affected Trevor, probably to the point that it sounds like he didn't even really vulnerably, completely open up about that trauma with you and how close you two were, the love. But you're climbing for change, you're climbing for Trevor, and you're doing it, and it's all happened at the right time for you in this story. Listen, I can't wait to see what happens next with you. I just cannot wait. I think that we have started something here. I want to see you summit through the documentary on that Kilimanjaro, on that mountain. I want to see you in the best, most beautiful dress at that premiere. I'm telling you, dangly earrings, the lot. We'll go to the boutiques together.
Okay, Lucy.
Honey,
Fabulous.
it's on. I'd love
Fabulous.
to. And thank you for raising so much money and using your connections, your community, your voice, your passion for change for not only Kidscape, but for My New Hair, your charity as well. And I hope that through this podcast and through everything you're doing with this climb and this adventure of a lifetime, that people are inspired by you and inspired by what you do, enjoy listening to stories of Trevor, and actually actively make positive change in their lives as well. I really do.
Thank you, Lucy.
I think you shine.
Oh,
I like your face. I think you're great. Bless you. Are there any other final messages? Perhaps a little message to Andrew we could end on, because he's the one who came to your house, ate your roast dinner, plied you with alcohol. There seems to be a common theme happening here, and got you to climb this mountain. What would you say to Andrew? What have you said to Andrew about it?
what would I say to Andrew? I think you said to me, Lucy, he's a magic man.
Yes.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Andrew is a magic man. So I thank Andrew from the bottom of my heart for actually giving me the kick that I needed. It didn't take much persuading, but, you know, I knew I was in good company.
You invited him into your space. You invited that magic in. It's that law of attraction again.
It's the law of attraction.
And he is like a firework, around you, isn't he?
Absolutely, absolutely.
He's a magic light. Bless him. Well, thank you so much, Carole. Thank you so much for your time today.
Lovely to be here, Lucy.
Bless you. It's been extraordinary and it has filled my heart with joy, and I've even got tears in my eyes. This is BrightIAM. I'm Lucy Black, and we were joined here today by the lovely Carole Sorbie. Thank you for listening.